Well, we all do what we do as a matter of service. We do it because we believe in what we're doing. And to get an award of any kind just is an extra bonus that we are happy to get but don't expect. For me, it's especially important because I knew Jim Pattee. He helped me get going early on in geriatrics, and he was just the nicest man. He was just so humble, and his patients loved him. Everybody loved him, and yet through his passion, he inspired people.
What the award means to me, in addition to the idea about service, is that as educators or as we were journal editors, and we really would get into the weeds very much on any one paper in terms of how rigorous it was and how large the sample was, and also with an eye, though, towards is this going to inform practice and policy and improve outcomes? And this award reminds me that it's is this going to improve practice and policy and outcomes, that component of it, that I'd like to believe that we really kept our eye on that prize. And it wasn't just the research, it was the why and the what of the research.
Being an editor is something I've done for years. I've edited a number of books. I've worked with lots of people and organizations around editing. And in a way, being JAMDA editor was kind of a culmination to that. And what editors pride themselves in is helping other people accomplish what they want to do. What editors really want to do is help others have papers that are successful, papers that are literate, papers that make people understand what they're trying to say. So it's really an extension of teaching.
I think something that was especially gratifying about our tenure at JAMDA was that we had an understanding of the field and ways that we wanted to promote more research and more scholarship within the field. And so, for example, we started a new offering called Pragmatic Innovations. And that was knowing that there's a lot of good work happening on the ground, and that we can learn from what's happening as opposed to research working its way down the evidence, but using what's happening on the ground and having that move its way up to get more robust research. What I found gratifying was, with that being an example, is to be able to promote the work, evidence-based practices, and develop practice-based evidence. We promoted that. And then also, I've got a deep passion for assisted living, and we had many, many more submissions in assisted living. It's a field that's been growing over the years, of course. But we were able to have a vision and, if not commission papers, but encourage papers and special issues on topics that we knew were very important. Reimagining long-term care was a special issue that we did. Phil led a whole special issue on infections.
And one on surgery as well, which we really haven't touched before.
Yeah, a novel area.
The other thing we've done, I think that's really worth mentioning, is we took the journal through COVID. Just as everybody else in the organization has been through COVID, submissions went up 50%, but there was much more interest in the things we were publishing, and that was both gratifying and rewarding experience.
And required, and continued to require even after COVID, because we only recently completed our tenure at the end of 2022. It continued us to require what is new, what is kind of the breaking news here, the breaking evidence, because a lot of papers were, what happened in this case and what happened in that case and in this setting and in that setting, and all of it was relevant, but you can only publish so much. So we had to have some very deep thinking and conversations with our editorial board about what were we going to bring new to the field, and especially after, thank goodness, things related to COVID started lessening in concerns, then we really had to have that bar, because it's not as if it stopped, but we did need to be mindful about, at some point, a lot of it was just another one-off story.
For example, in late 2022, we were still getting papers from early 2020, like the first few months of the pandemic, and things were so different that data was not relevant for now. And so we tried to keep things as contemporary as we could.
And circling it back, I just can't help but reflect on it, is with this whole conversation about COVID, the fact that we really were educators. I mean, we really, in our positions in JAMDA, was bringing information to the field. And I don't know that we thought about it as educators as much as we did research, but really they are synonymous terms.
You know, another way we've done that is that we really try to be a conduit for some of the very helpful professional materials that were coming out of JAMDA. If I were to speak to Dr. Pattee now, on behalf of the group, I would ask him, how do you both be there for your patients, be there on a day-to-day basis, and also be an educator and be involved nationally and kind of meld all those roles and do them well? He was able to do that. That's a tough thing to do.
It was a very gratifying 5 years. The award was icing on the cake. And I am going to still be continuing as a senior associate editor because I can't quite let go of it. But I just, it's a wonderful, JAMDA is a wonderful organization. Those of us who are part of it and work in this field, we know that, we feel it. That's what it's like when you come to the meeting every time. You're with friends and comrades and family. I think getting recognized for what we do from this group, there couldn't be a higher honor than that, I think.
The other thing I want to say is that, you know, my attitude toward post-acute and long-term care has really evolved during my career. Early in my career, it was like, oh, this is really exciting pathology. You know, look at all these things. I can take medical students and show them all these physical findings. And, you know, this is really fascinating stuff I haven't seen before. And it was all exciting and scientific. And as the decades have gone further, I've been more and more aware of both the tragedy of individual lives and the challenges of bringing joy to what is essentially a very difficult process, which is aging and death and dying.
So yeah, we have to approach it in a very humble way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.